Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Well, we're back tonight, I suppose. We skipped last week. Um, kind of trying to figure out the Baldur's Gate situation. Still a work in progress, but hopefully that will be something that we can come back to in the future. I do have some minor anxieties that, well, perhaps this computer is not up to snuff to run newer games and do streaming at the same time until I can get it some upgrades, which I cannot afford right now. So we may be just limiting ourselves to some of my older games, older being like, I don't know, anything from like 2 or 3 years ago and before then. So not a lot of super old stuff. Because give me just 1 minute here, but because of that, we're just going to be kind of sticking with some stuff that I've already got going, and or some games rather that I know will work. All right, just plugging this in. Um, Sorry, just plugging this into our little Discord thing here. Blah 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 blah. Oh, hello viewer. So tonight, considering that Baldur's Gate and the streaming thing don't seem to, the current way we have the setup going doesn't seem to work. We need to run a few test runs, but like I said, potentially this computer not going to be up to snuff to run a game like Baldur's Gate and stream at the same time. So maybe I'll find a way to use my laptop, which it runs well on. Let me go plug one of my desktop monitors into my laptop or something instead. But whatever. Tonight, however, let me just do this real quick. Sorry, I sat down and was running a little behind schedule and having trouble getting into the account here, so I don't have everything set up. I didn't really have a lot of time to look at stuff, but yeah. So tonight, I don't know. I got a couple of things in mind that we'll try. I was going to try out Darktide, but I think I'm going to run into the same problem with that I was running into with Baldur's Gate, where it's just like my computer can run it, but it takes so much of my very outdated CPU that my computer can't really or doesn't really want to do anything else while it's trying to run that game. So I'm thinking we try some other games that are more likely to work. And the first one I had in mind, well, I had a couple of things in mind. We could do, I'll put this in chat too, so people who are coming in a little later can, or in the next bit or whatever, can see it. I had some options, and I'll just put them in chat here. What other things do I have installed on my computer at the moment? Here, let's see. Nothing super trendy, though. You know, like I said, one, I don't have a lot of money for video games these days, and two, my computer seems to not be. We finally gotten to a point where my computer can't really keep up. It seems like, which is something I knew was going to happen eventually, but I was hoping it would happen when I could afford to upgrade it, and I can't right now. Let's see what else. Okay. So we'll just hang out for a little while here, you know, see if we get a few more people coming in. Otherwise, I'll just start up Mountain Blade in a minute here if I don't get any feedback. I have a little sippy here. We're gonna be yeah, I've got Mountain Blade up and running. So let's, or at least in theory, I've got it up and running. So I need to turn down that volume though. My goodness. I'm just going to turn down the master volume. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I can't get my Windows. Hang on, where's my, there it is. Here's the one I want. Awesome. All right, here we are. I still got to turn this volume down on the game. Too loud. Too loud. Oh man, I keep clicking all the wrong buttons. Gonna do that there. Showing my technical lack of technical aptitude. Let's see. We're trying to go for audio here, so that's where I'm at. I gotta turn this master volume down more because I can't hear myself talk. Let's see. Just want to check all the settings here. I haven't played this game in a while. And I just want to make sure that there's a lot of this stuff that like I just don't even. Listen to this freaking theme though. Okay, I think we're probably fine. Oh, no. So, for those who are not familiar with Mountain Blade, I am also fairly new to this series of games. I have never played the first one, which a lot of people seem to really like. I shouldn't say I never played it. I tried playing it, and it was a little too rough around the edges, we'll call it. Because it's a pretty small team that makes this, And this game itself was like in development for 10 years or something, and only I think last fall got its full 1.0 release. And there's still a whole bunch of stuff that they're going to add to it. I've got some mods to fill in some of those gaps, so the ones that I kind of find to be the most egregious. I'm trying to position my camera so that I can be seen. My face is not behind my nameplate. There we go. All right. So this game is kind of like a medieval life simulator in some respects. You create a character. It has kind of a little bit of RPG mechanics going on. And you live in this fantasy world of Calradia. Or not, it's a fantasy. It's a fictional world. It's not fantasy specifically. It's medieval. There are no monsters. There's no magic, anything like that. It's just people. There's no elves or anything. Just humans that are inspired loosely by kind of combinations of different cultures from different periods of real world history. Of course, modified and tweaked for this fictional setting. And you basically just play as a person. And you are just trying to live your life, and you can become a bandit, you can become a mercenary, you can kind of be this independent faction, or swear your fealty to one of the various rulers of the different kingdoms, and kind of work your way up through those tiers of society, and then potentially become the leader of that faction, or one of your descendants can, because you can get married and have families, and when your character dies of old age or dies in battle, you become your designated heir, because that's the character you start playing. So it can go on potentially for generations and generations. I've never gotten a game to go on that long. I have a couple of save files where I've made a lot of progress, but we're going to be starting fresh for the stream. And because we're playing Bannerlord, it has a campaign mode or a sandbox mode. And the campaign mode has this mechanic in it where you have to accomplish a series of tasks within a certain amount of time, and when you do complete those tasks, the game becomes extremely difficult. So we're not going to do that, because I'm not that good at it. So we're going to just do sandbox. The one advantage of starting the campaign is you start off with people in your family already. You have like a brother and a couple of other siblings. And so they can become helpers and followers and stuff in your faction. Like if you gain control of a settlement because you're a vassal of some noble and they gift you the city because they like you a lot, you can set someone in your family to be like the governor or whatever. So we'll just see we'll see what happens. We're going to play a sandbox, so I don't have anyone in my family to start with. It's just going to be my character. And I have some mods to make diplomacy stuff more engaging, to make some of the battle stuff more interesting looking, and helping to help the settlements, make it a little bit more easier to manage the settlements. This game does also have part of the getting married and having families and stuff in the base game is that because it is based on a medieval culture. When your daughters are married, they join the family of their new spouse. I have a mod that makes it so that I can keep my daughters if I want to. But here's the opening cutscene.
For 500 years, the Calradian Empire dominated the continent. Its armies scattered foes before them. The strongholds of proud tribes crumbled beneath its engines of war. From the forests of the north to the wastes of the south, all was brought beneath the standard of their legions. Brutal as the conquest was, the wise agreed that it brought peace. The land, now untroubled by armies, grew rich. But empires, like men, grow old. Leaders lose a common cause. Corruption spreads. Old enemies learn the Empire's tricks and devise new ones of their own. Until one day,
My mouse is
the
acting
bonds
strangely.
holding the Empire snap. Then comes the Civil War, pitting all against all. A time of hatred. A time of suffering. But also, even in the worst hours, a time of courage and defiance. As new leaders arise, from new places and new peoples,
My mouse is doing weird things.
to turn back
because of the
the
cutscene.
tides of destruction and bring forth a new world from the ashes of the old.
The music in this game is awesome. So epic. Alright, why is my mouse behaving so weird? Okay, now it's behaving normally. That was odd. I think it was because it was in the cutscene. I don't like to have... I wish more games, just quickly, I wish more games had a feature where, like, during cutscenes and stuff, it would, like, make the mouse, like, the cursor disappear. So it wouldn't just be, like, in the middle of the screen while you're trying to watch a cutscene. Anyways. Okay. So, here we are. We're choosing our character's culture. So the Valandians are kind of like Norman knights. They're very, like, they have a lot of sort of French kind of early Middle Ages English sounding names. And they have, I would say, like, they're probably the best kind of like all-rounder faction. They have their archers, or their best archers are heavy crossbowmen that have a slow rate of fire, but have a further range than longbows. But the best archers belong to the Botanians, who you can't see, but they are this faction here. They have the best archers in the game. They're kind of like Anglo-Saxon, Scottish, Welsh, British Isles. Kind of inspired. They have like they wear like kilts and stuff like that. They're the Kuzites, which are this faction here. They're kind of a big mixture of like Imperial Chinese and Mongolians. So they have like really good horse archers, which we'll be getting eventually. Probably not tonight. You gotta kind of work up to that. The Aesarais, you can see they got a little camel there, so they're kind of like the Moors, who, if you're not familiar, they were a Islamic African population from kind of the Morocco area that also occupied a large portion, or almost all, of Spain in the Middle Ages until the Spanish drove them out. So they're kind of inspired by those sort of cultures. Up here's the Empire. They are not so much Roman as they are Byzantine, Greek, Eastern Roman Empire sort of aesthetic. Sturgians are kind of a mixture of the ancient Rus and Vikings. And then, here are the Valandians. I usually play as a Botanian because I like that they move faster and have a better line of sight in forests, because one of the most important things in this game for your little army that you're going to... Excuse me. For your army that you're leading is movement speed. Being able to move fast is so important. It gives you so much more tactical control over, like, when, like, you can if you're fast, if your army's faster, you can outrun armies that might defeat you, or you can maneuver around slower armies to position and get better ground to fight on. So that's why I like playing as the Britannians. Also, I just think that the Anglo-Saxon Celtic culture look is cool. But let's see here. So towns owned by Britannian rulers have +1 militia production, so that's also kind of useful if you're going to be being besieged. But that's not something. That's a bonus that I'm fine without. And then 10% slower build rate for town projects and settlements, which can be tough because it takes a long time for stuff to get built in settlements in this game. It's not something that happens in like a couple of minutes. It takes many turns and a little bit of micromanaging, as you'll see, to get to be able to build stuff effectively. I don't really have much interest in playing as the Kuzites or the Aesurai personally. Because the thing is, this no speed penalty to desert, while it's nice in theory, there's only desert in the part of the world that they're from. There are forests everywhere. So that's not as good of a benefit to me. If you're going to be playing like a trader, like a merchant kind of character, this would be really great. But we're not going to be. I'm going to be playing so we'll be starting off as a mercenary, a sellsword, and kind of a bounty hunter. And going from there. Let's see. Empire, 20% less garrison troop wage. Being in an army brings 25% more influence. Influence is really important. It's kind of how you recruit people, and if you're, it helps you recruit people. And if you're in a faction as a full member, you can use influence to help shape policy in that faction. And then the more influence you have too, the larger armies you can recruit. So if you're at war with somebody and you need to recruit a big army by pulling other nobles or whatever together from that faction to combine your forces, having more influence means you can get more people to join you. You lose the influence; you have to spend it, so you have to earn it back. Which is why being in an army brings you 25% more influence. That's pretty useful. 25% less garrison troop wage is also pretty useful. Some of the settlements are really not well positioned for like trading and making profits. So there are settlements there that are really difficult to get even to break even with like their expenditures versus their profits. Sturgians. Unfortunately, the Sturgians, kind of like the Britannians, are one of the factions that just doesn't have very good map placement, and so they kind of get stomped a little bit. Good army stuff though here. Recruiting and upgrading infantry troops is 25% cheaper. That's really useful. Armies is 20% less daily cohesion. So when you have a bunch of nobles together in an army, you have cohesion you have to maintain, and you have to spend influence to keep people in your army. So those are actually really useful. 27% more relationship management from kingdom decisions. That's really kind of only one of those things if you're like trying to become the faction leader. You want to get people on your side so that if you come up for election, more people will vote for you. I'm not super worried about that though, because you can make up that relationship penalty pretty easily by helping other people. So Vlandians here, 5% more renown from battles, 15% more income while serving as a mercenary, 10% production bonus. 15% more income while serving as a mercenary is going to be really useful. Yeah. We're going to do this. I don't like that we're going to have it cost 20% more influence to recruit people to our army, but I'm willing to trade that for these other bonuses. So I think we're going to go with the Vlandian. Normally I play as a Britannian, but we're going to do Vlandian this time, which is okay because that's kind of the part of the world I wind up in anyways, because the Vlandians are really powerful. They are very wealthy, and they have the best all-round army. Like they don't excel really at anything, but their their worst their worst units are better than the worst units of other factions, if that makes sense. Like they don't have, I don't even think they get horse archers, but they're in their cavalry isn't as powerful as the Empire cavalry, or the Sturgian cavalry, but it stomps the Kuzites and the Batanians, or sorry, not the Kuzites and Batanians, but like the heavy armor. They have like armored knights and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Let's pick the Valandians and go from there. So now we're gonna make a character. I wish you could save templates because I kind of have a look that I like for characters with games like this, because, or rather, within each game where you get to design a character, I usually wind up making a very similar looking character no matter how many times I play, because it's kind of like, well, this is the only one that I really like the look of. I think everything else is kind of funny. So let's see here.
Infantry! Man the ladders! Victory is ours! Circle formation! Climb up! Look at them run! At them!
We're gonna do voice 1. Gonna make him really tall. It's gonna be like a big, kind of scary mercenary guy. Make him look all muscly. And designing the face is always the most freaking annoying thing with these things. I wish I didn't have to do this. Ah! It's got such a weird looking face. We're gonna make his head a little bit wider. I'll fix that once I've got better. We gotta, let's see. Where do we gotta start? This guy's face is kind of a mess. Where do we start? Start with the jawline, I suppose. Mouth width. I wanted to make his mouth a little wider, just a little bit wider. I'm not going to change teeth type. You don't want to see what the teeth look like on people in this game. It's really, really awful in a comical way. The thing is, with this game, is it because it's a by a small studio, it's definitely got its like quirks and its little weird bits that go on with it graphically and with different object interactions and stuff. But it's one of those games where the stuff about it that I like is good enough for me that it makes up for its other deficiencies in a lot of respects. So let's see here. God, his mouth is like inside his lips are inside his teeth. So we're gonna do that. We're not gonna make him grumpy, but we don't. Having like a stupid gormless smile on his face, Gonna try and avoid that. What does this do? Oh, actually, I like that. Makes his mouth look straighter. Jaw shape. What I want is I want his chin to not be so like. There we go. Shorten up the chin. No, hang on. Make chin longer. Make chin a little bit wider. Jaw height. Is this what we want? I don't know. I think we want to leave it like right there. Jaw line. Oh, there we go. That's the one I want. We want to do like that, I think. Let's see. Lower the jaw a little bit. Okay, there we go. I like that. I think his... Let's see here. It's got like his top lip is like sticking out weird. Let's do like that. Okay, great. Let's do nose. Nose. Okay, we'll do, I think, like right there. Nose length. That's that. We'll do like Yeah, what I want to do is we need to make his nose like a little smaller. It's too small. Oh, here we go. Gotta make his nostrils smaller. There we go. That's what we want. No, let's see. Make the nose a little narrower. That's too narrow. There. Let's see. Nose tip height. Good there. See, I want to make it like, see if I can stick. Oh, that was the face. This is when we do face depth and we do like that. There we go. Okay, great. I think he's looking all right. We're going to put a beard and stuff on him anyway, so it'll be changing stuff. Oh, here, this is another way we can fix it. Add a little bit of face weight to it so he just doesn't look like emaciated. We got to do something about those cheekbones. Those are really weird looking. Bring them up higher. Oh, depth maybe. Yeah, low on the depth. His eyes are like also doing like some weird inverted thing. Face sharpness. That's something we need to turn down a little bit. You know what we got to do now is we have to make his chin stick out just a little bit more. There. Going back and forth, back and forth. Temple width. We want to do a little narrow, like that. I think that's fine. Eye socket size. Goodness. Let's make those small. Its ears are fine to me. I don't think we need to change those. We got to do the eyes, though. The eyes are messing me up really bad. Eyebrow depth. No, we need to fix the eyes first. God, his eyes are like just something is just so wrong about his eyes. Deeper. Yeah. Hammerhead shark. Hello. What is going on with his eyes? There's just, I'm not crazy. There's just something weird about his eyes. What is this? Eye position. Okay, lowering them I think helps a little bit. Brow, inner height. Oh no, we need to. That's part of it too, is his brow is like so high above his eyelids. There we go. That looks better. Okay, now his eyes need to go up more, though. Because his forehead is really big. Like in that uncanny valley way where it's like, it looks sort of normal, but is not somehow. All right, let's see here. What is center height? Oh, that's what we're looking for. Okay, great. Yeah, I think he looks good. I think he looks good. Maybe put his eyes back just like a touch closer together. Just like a teensy bit. I'm going to change the eye color. We'll do green. I like green. All right, time for hair and beard. Hair, I know what there's a particular. Yep, this is the one. This is the best male hairstyle. We're just going to go with that one. And beard wise, we're going to go. That's too much beard. I don't want that much beard. That's also too much beard. This is the right beard that we want. I think he looks still a little goofy, but I think that's sort of unavoidable with the character creator in this game. All right, now we do hair color. We're gonna do like let's see, the Vlandians. A lot of the Vlandians are like blonde and stuff, so we'll kind of go lean into that a little bit. I think maybe we do like a fearsome red-headed warrior. The green eyes and red hair, I think, is a good combo. Let's do that. Like an auburn, like a Rob Stark look. I think he looks fine. I can actually change his appearance too if it gets too weird. Put his clothing on. Let's see what he looks like with his clothes on. That is a beefy boy with his clothing on, but that's what we want. A big, hearty lad. All right, so you were born into a family of a baron's retainers. Your father was a bailiff for a local feudal magnate. He looked after his liege's estates, resolved disputes in the village, and helped train the village levy. He rode with the lord's cavalry, fighting as an armored knight. So that would give me points in polearm, horse riding, and then I would get a +1 to my social. Social is good because you can get being able to charm people is very useful. But honestly, steward intelligence is going to be like our non-combat stat. I think we're going to mostly focus on. We'll do a little bit of cunning for the tactics, which all this stuff, it's very hard to explain, and I don't really understand exactly how it all works, but and it will become more obvious how it works as I improve in skill, because the differences as you level are very slight, and you only really notice the difference once you've progressed a lot, which I actually like, because it means you actually have to get good at stuff rather than relying on really big like bonuses from levels and things to succeed in the game. So that's kind of just what I prefer. All right, so Baron's Retainers, I don't think so. We'll see. Maybe we'll come back to that, because again, the horseback riding is actually super useful in battles. You can ride faster, you have more control over your horse, the higher those scores are. Urban merchants. Your family were merchants in one. There we go. Your family were merchants in one of the main cities of the kingdom. They organized caravans to nearby towns and were active in the local merchants' guilds. We get a lot of points in social here, +1 to intelligence. And trading is actually super useful, especially early game, because it's kind of one of the only ways to make money early game that isn't just winning battles and like plundering loot. But I don't really care too much about charm on this character. I mean, a little, I don't know. It's one of those things where like you can still, even without putting points in it right now, you can still level it up. Hey Colin, playing some Mountain Blade Bannerlord. So hopefully that's not going to, like, the stream and everything will work. We'll find out when we get into the game, because this game is a little janky. So we'll see what happens. Right now we're making our character, and I'm working on my character background, so like to kind of help determine my starting stats. Yeoman. I was born into a family of yeomen. Your family were small farmers with just enough land to feed themselves and make a small profit. People like them were the pillars of the kingdom's economy, as well as the backbone of the levy. So honestly, ranged control is, in my opinion, one of the worst stats in this game. It's so hard to aim with bows and crossbows and stuff. So we don't really get anything from that. Polearm also is just one of those things where like I'll only really be using a polearm when I'm on horseback in battle. So it will kind of just level itself up. So we're gonna probably not getting a 3 to endurance is good though. Endurance is useful for more hit points and being able to travel further and stuff like that, carry more shit. Urban blacksmith. Your family owned a smithy. Ooh, this is two-handed. Again, we'll see here. Your father played an active, if minor, role in the town council and also served in the militia. Hunters. Okay, we're getting control there. I don't care. Mercenaries. All right. Well, we might go with the Baron's Retainers because you get a little bit of riding, a little bit of polearm, which will go well together, and I'll be able to level up my one-handed and stuff on its own fine. And then I get +1 to social, which is really useful. If this had something like in endurance for urban merchants, I would take this one because you get the +2 intelligence. Because being able to be your own steward is really, really useful. It makes it so you can travel faster, carry more food. It makes it so your troops don't need as much food to eat. You have like more well-negotiated wages for your soldiers, stuff like that. So steward, super, super useful. So I wish urban merchants had like something in endurance that I could take, that because otherwise I would get this. But I think we're just going to have to go with the Baron's Retainers because we're getting more of the things that are going to be useful. And yes, Colin, it took a while. I tried the first one. It was a little too janky for me, but this one is just put together well enough that I was able to look past the jank and get into it and have a good time. I am running some mods. I forget what all of them are. But I have like a diplomacy mod. I have one that makes it easier to manage settlements. Not necessarily easier mechanically, but more convenient too. So you don't have to like travel to the specific. You can like basically send messages to cities to manage them rather than having to be inside each one to manage them, which is really, really useful, especially if you're like out on campaign. I have a mod that lets me do feasts to improve morale and influence and stuff when we're not at war. I have a mod that lets me keep my daughters from marriages if I want to, because my last playthrough of this game, or the last character that I've made a lot of progress on, he only had daughters with his wife. I had 4 daughters. And if you marry your daughters, they go to other families. So I was going to lose all of my children to other nobles, and I just did not want that to happen. So I don't have too much of there's a lot of really crazy mods for this game. Mine are pretty tame, just trying to fill in kind of some of the holes in gameplay that the game has more than anything. I have some stuff that adds like different armors too that are more. They're not quite of the era of medieval history that Bannerlord is like. Yeah, it is. It's really useful. It's kind of broken just because like you're all, rather than losing daughters, you're gaining other people's sons. So your family just gets like much bigger and you have way more people to like help manage cities and like create armies and things. So it gets a little busted when you start to have like when your family starts to really expand. But it's very useful, so I'm gonna keep using it. And I can't remember what all of the mods are. I had a couple of them that I had to turn off because they kept crashing the game. So I don't remember what everything is, but we'll get around to it. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Baron's Retainers for the riding and the +1 to social more than anything else. But this is not the only thing we're gonna pick, so we get a few other options here too. So as a child, you were noted for your leadership skills. If the wolf pup gang of your early childhood had an alpha, it was definitely you. All the other kids followed your lead as you decided what to play and where to play and led them in games and mischief. Leadership is a good skill for like army coherency and stuff like that. But we don't really care. And tactics is also useful. So this we may wind up going with that one. Brawn. Yeah, no. See, I don't really care. Like, I'll be using a two-handed weapon eventually, but it will be as a supplementary weapon to my one-handed weapon and shield, which is my preference. Because being able to the combat in this game, as you'll know, Colin, if you've played it, is kind of wonky. The way you have to like aim your attacks, and I've not gotten good enough at it where I can block right consistently without a shield. So attention to detail, control we don't care about too much, but athletics is good. You were quick on your feet and attentive to what was going on around you. Usually you could run away from trouble. Well, you could give a good account of yourself in a fight with other children if cornered. Aptitude for numbers, I'm kind of immediately going to be dismissing this one because this is a things like trade and engineering are very easy to fill in with like a recruitable follower or a family member that you train up in those abilities. Way with people, also something that other people in my faction can be good at. I don't need to. Skill with horses, good endurance is always a good riding is good. Medicine, not super useful to us. Again, that's a very easy one to supplement with like a follower that you can recruit. I think we're going to go with leadership. I think we're going to go with leadership skills. I think that's because I like having good tactics because you get a lot of benefits to executing formations and stuff if you have tactics, a good tactics score. Choose your adolescence. Like all village children, you also helped out the fields. You also herded the sheep. This gives us 1 to cunning. Ooh, athletics. You went with other fleet-footed youths to take the village's sheep, goats, or cattle to graze in pastures near the village. You were in charge of chasing down stray beasts and always kept a big stone on hand to be hurled at lurking predators if necessary. So I suppose that's where we get our throwing from. Worked in the village smithy. This gives us, smithing is one of those skills that is apparently super, super busted if you get into it. Like, you could just make just absolutely, just boatloads of money. However, I find crafting in video games, generally speaking, to be extremely tedious. So I don't really care about it. Unless it's like the point of the game. If I'm playing like a survival game with friends or something like that, then I don't mind it. But if it's like the game is mostly about these other fun, engaging bits of gameplay, and then here's also a bunch of boring crafting stuff, like I don't, unless it's very simplified, then I don't really care. So repaired projects, engineering and stuff, we don't care about that. Gathered herbs in the wild. This would give us a +1 to endurance, which is really useful. A bonus to our scouting and a bonus to our medicine. Scouting also, we don't really need that because we're going to wind up recruiting. Yeah, solo games. I mean, like, again, I've played a decent amount of like solo Ark Survival Evolved, and that's very much like a crafting survival game, but it's also got dinosaurs, so it's a fair trade-off in my opinion. And because also it's a survival game, you can adjust like the rates at which things respawn and stuff like that, so you can make it a little bit easier for yourself if you're playing alone. Hunted small game. Again, we don't care about control, so we're automatically just going to be kind of dismissing that. Honestly, I think herded the sheep is going to be our best one because we're getting a + to our athletics here. And again, we're getting some stuff. Well, I don't know, man, because the control is kind of a waste. Don't really care about that. And I think it's just not even really like crafting, it's like building and having to do stuff to like have your shelter. It's core to the mechanics of the game, so it's engaging in that respect. It doesn't feel like an obnoxious diversion. There's people who love that stuff, so I'm not saying that it shouldn't be in game, but I just tend to skip it when it's there. What are we gonna pick here? I don't know. I think we pick gathered herbs in the wild. We're getting the bonus to our endurance. Medicine doesn't really do much for us. But scouting might be useful if we need a little bit of that. I don't know. I think that's the one that we're going to go with. I like the +1 to the endurance the best out of all the options we have. As a youngster growing up in Calradia, war was never too far away. You served as a baron's groom. So we get, +1 to cunning, +1 to steward. Okay, that's good. That's useful as hell. Trained with the cavalry, also useful for that endurance and the horse riding. So what does it say here? Your family arranged for you to accompany a minor baron of the Vlandian kingdom. You were not given major responsibilities, mostly carrying messages and tending to his horse, but it did give you a chance to see how campaigns were planned and men were deployed in battle. I had a system down where I was very efficient with that, where I would do the Phomia like stimulant feed where you can feed Fomia a bunch of like stim berries and they'll just make a bunch of poop, and then I would use it for fertilizer. I have a save where as a solo player, I actually was making decent progress. I have a save. I have uninstalled the game at the moment because it's just fucking huge and I'm running out of memory on this computer. But my last save on it, I made some decent progress. Yeah, so I like the tactics bonus here and the steward bonus. Trained with the cavalry. Again, we're getting more polearm. I see we just don't really need that much in our polearm to start with. Again, we're only really going to be using it on horseback, so it's going to be this very selective thing. Like, we'll never be using it in sieges. We'll never be using it in bandit raids. We'll only ever be using it in cavalry charges, and even then it's just like in the charge, and then once we get stuck in the fight, we're going to be pulling out an axe or a sword or whatever else we've got. But again, the plus 2 endurance in the riding is good. You could never have bought the equipment on your own, but you were a good enough rider so that the local lord sent you a horse and equipment. You joined the armored cavalry, training with the lance. Control and steward. Okay, yeah, this is another one we're just going to dismiss out of hand because we don't really need it. Dude, there's so many control things. There's nothing in one-handed. There we go. Train with the infantry. This is the one I think we're going to take because we're getting plus 2 our vigor, and we're starting with one little notch there in our one-handed, and we're going to be starting with one-handed weapons. So I think that's the one we're going to do. Choose your young adulthood. Before you set out for a life of adventure, your biggest achievement was you defeated an enemy in battle. This is a good one for vigor. And we're getting pluses to our valor and our renown to start with, so that's good. Not everyone who musters for the levy marches to war, and not everyone who goes on campaign sees action. You did both, and you also took down an enemy warrior in direct one-on-one combat in full view of your comrades. What a successful manhunt. This will be good for tactics. When your community needed to organize a posse to pursue horse thieves, you were the obvious choice. You hunted down the raiders, surrounded them, and forced their surrender, and took back your stolen property. So again, getting some bonuses to tactics and leadership there, which are both useful. You invested some money in land. So this is trading and smithing. Don't care. Plus 1 to intelligence, though. But if I'd take it if I didn't have these other things that I'm not going to use. More pole arms and bows. We don't care. Running and roguery. Plus 1 to endurance. I'm getting 2 out of this, and a little bit of roguery can be kind of useful, but we'll see. You treated people well. As another benefit bonus to steward. What's the most useful here? We're getting good combat stuff from this, and having good combat stuff will be really useful early on, and we can kind of develop stuff. So I think this is what we're going to do here. You choose your starting age. All right, so do we want to be very young, 20 years old? Do we want to be 30 or 40, sort of normal adult age, or kind of 50, getting into like true middle age? I like the idea of starting young because it'll give us more time with this character. Oh yeah, daring, 1 valor. Valor represents your reputation for risking your life to win glory or wealth or advance your cause. That's it. That's fun. So what do you think, Colin? Do we go with 20 or 30? I'm inclined to think 20. Just because we'll get more time to play as this character, and we won't be in much of a rush to get married and start having children. All right, this is what we're going to do here. Banner time. So one of the mods I have also gives me a lot more options for banners. So let's see here. And you can see we've got some Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire kind of. I know there's actually some of them in here. So I love those books. So when I saw that they were added in here, I was like, oh shit, that's cool. A lot of really overly complicated ones, but they do look kind of cool. And the thing is, this is not, we can change this too. But I think we start with something simple, right? We're kind of starting from humble beginnings. So we start with something very basic and then improve on it and change it as we progress. Yeah, so here we go. Here are the Game of Thrones ones. So you see there's like Targaryen and Stark and Lannister and fuck, who is this? I don't know. Maybe Blackwood? I'm not sure. But you see, we've got all these things here. Oh, no, this is Blackwood, I think. The Raven Tree. Something simple, though. That's what I think we need something simple to start. Oh, here's a bunch of Warhammer 40k ones. Da, 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 da. Hmm. I gotta pick something here. I can't deliberate on this for too long. But I want something cool, but something simple. We're Valandian. So we're kind of like a Norman, French Norman, English Norman sort of thing going on. So some kind of, I don't know, let's see, there's like a Templar cross in here that we could do. Yeah, something like one of these guys. Oh yeah, here we go. Let's just do that. Let's start with that. And then we can do some cooler stuff once we get more renown and it feels kind of like story appropriate. Or, story appropriate. There's not really a story in this game. So that's the color of the flag. What do we think here? So the way this will work is that we get to pick a color of our flag, but if we join another faction, our flag color will change to theirs. But I think what we're going to try and do in this game is we're going to try and start our own kingdom at some point. So we'll only ever really be working as a mercenary, which means I'm going to have to figure out how to kind of endear myself to other nobles so they'll like be my friends and not constantly trying to kill me when I go around and finally start my own domain, my own realm. And the thing is, the Sturgians have blue, so I want to have a color that isn't really being used by anybody else, so we don't like blend in. So we got background colors here. The Valandians are red, and I mean we're Valandians, so maybe we do like kind of a color of red that isn't the same, like isn't Valandian red, We don't really have great options for the color palette here, unfortunately. That one's better. You can delineate. You can see the different textures a little bit better with that color. So we'll do that. And Valandians are also gold, but I think we should try and go for like white, maybe. I think it stands out a little bit more. Just to differentiate. Size of the sigil. Too big. A little bit smaller. A little smaller. Perfect. Perfect. All right, that's how we're starting. All right. So this is our family name. So hang on. I have a cool. I know what we're doing. I know what we're doing. We're gonna do a le instead of day. No, we're gonna do day. Day higher. It's very like Arthurian knight kind of name. Our first name is not going to be Mertion. it's going to be Artorias or Cormac. Which one? We're going kind of like very like knightly names. Artorias Lahire or Cormac Lahire? I like Cormac Lahire. Next, difficulty presets freebooter. All right, now here's the question. Do we want... You know what? I'm going to play this realistic. Recruitment difficulty. The amount of extra troops that you can recruit from notables. We need a lot of troops, so we're going to keep this one. Map movement speed. Just for the sake of this being more enjoyable to watch, I think we want to have this be high. Persuasion success. We're going to go realistic. Combat AI difficulty normal. Clan member death possible in battles. We'll go reduced by 50% because it can really fucking derail your game if somebody important in your faction dies. But we still want people to be able to die. But although if we do realistic, this also does apply to other factions, and you have it set that low, it can be hard to kill enemy people in battle. So we'll go realistic. I haven't played like that. So hero deaths in combat, no. Enable battle death for all heroes. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Here we go. Loading in. Awesome. Okay, so Sargot is I don't know if Sargot or Galland are the capital. I think Galland is probably the capital. All right, so here we are. Out on the map. So we are, so you can see. Ooh, I gained a level. That's exciting. Saving. Oh, I clicked on something, so we're moving. All right, well, you can see here, map. So we better really, I'm moving very far away. We don't want to do that. I was moving all the way over there. See, this is quite a large map. And we've got all these different factions. There are the 3 Imperial factions in the center here. Northern Empire, Western Empire, Southern Empire. Here are the Aeserai. Here are the Kuzite. The blue are the Sturgians. The green are the Battanians. Britannia gets routinely stomped into the ground very quickly because they are just completely surrounded. They don't have like any good natural borders to keep from attacking. And then here we are, the Vlandians. We're kind of tucked away over the side. I guess to be a part of the kingdom, but my heritage is Vlandian. So, well, we don't want to attack those Sea Raiders because there's only 1 of me and 9 of them. But we're going to start trying to recruit a couple of people for our own little force here. So, recruit troops. What do we have on offer here? We've got peasants, Vlandian recruits. I'm just going to recruit. We want about 10, including ourselves. We want about 10 people to start with that we can. Because if we go more than that without having any money or more food or anything, we won't be able to sustain our forces. But the other thing is we don't want to get caught by bandits because we'll have to fight them or ransom ourselves, and we can't really afford to do either yet. So, I'm going to try and recruit some guys, and then we'll try and chase down those looters. That'll be a good group to go after. What does Vilmorand of Kaliok want from us? The Art of the Trade. I don't have enough money for that one. we'll get into a lot of. I'll explain more about the quests when we start doing them. But I do want to recruit some guys here. So we have 7, 8, 9, 10. Great. You know what, though? Here's the thing. I'm just going to get these last two. And then, whoops, we're going to go after these looters. Chase them down! Nope, my horse is invisible. Nice.
Yeah? What do you want with
I
us?
want you to surrender or die, brigand. Attack! Attack! Aha, the battle has begun. All right, so how do I play this game? All right, cool. Alt is to see stuff. So they're coming to us. Just let them come to us.
Infantry!
Let's see here. I'm gonna group these guys into like a little 2-line formation.
Forward!
Don't remember how any of this stuff works.
Infantry! Infantry!
There we go. Okay, great. Controls. The
Front
control
back!
scheme for this game is not great. I will say.
Soldiers!
We want to do an engage.
Close in!
As engage, they'll hold their formation a little bit better. And if they charge. Oh, get a little bit of lag. So slow. Oh, I don't think we lost a single guy. We didn't. That is awesome. Nice. Nobody leveled up, but that's okay. Or no, we have 6 guys that leveled up. However, I don't want to level them up yet because I need more money and food before we do that. We're going to take that loot. I'm going to put on these arm wraps just because they will give me just a little bit extra armor. I am not, however, putting on the ribbed head cloth because it looks very stupid. So we're not going to be doing that. Yes. All right. So battle's over. We gotta find like some easy little missions to do. Is what we're gonna be focusing on right now. That's the exclamation points next to settlements will tell us where we can get missions. But we have a line of sight, so just because we can't, it doesn't happen all the way over here in Alorstan doesn't mean there isn't one. It's just we gotta get closer to be able to see. Ooh, more sea raiders. Sea raiders are a little bit more difficult than bandits, so actually I might want to hold off on a town. They've got better weapons and armor, and they usually carry big shields. So you want to hold off. Our guys are basically just peasants with sticks, so they're not really ready to take on serious fighters. Orest of Aromank needs help with brigands. This is what we want to do. This is exactly the kind of mission. Let's talk to Orest.
Yours is not a face I know. What is your name, stranger?
I am Cormac, and who are you? I am Orest. I own land around here. I speak for many of the people in this village. I'll remember your name. I heard you may need some help with the problem. Hang on, it's not numbers. It's not the keyboard doesn't let me pick options. Yes, we've had trouble with bandits, but we've always had trouble with bandits, but recently we've had a lot more than our share. The hills outside of town are infested. A lot of us are afraid to take their goods to market. Some have been murdered. People tell me people tell me I'm getting so desperate, maybe I'll turn bandit myself. It's bad. So you want me to hunt them down? Well, sir, you'll never get all those outlaws, but if word gets around that you took down some of the most vicious ones, let's say 2 bands of brigands, robbing us wouldn't seem so lucrative. Maybe the rest would go bother someone else. Do you think you can help us? That depends. How many men do you think are required to get the job done? I bet even a party of 10 properly trained men accompanied by one of your lieutenants can handle any band they find. Give them 6 days, say. That'll make a difference. I don't have anyone to command my troops yet. So, I'll hunt down 2 bands of brigands for you. Very good. I'll be waiting for the good news then. Once you return, I'm ready to offer a reward of 550 dinars. Just make sure that you defeat at least 2 bands no more than a day's ride away from here. So you've got to stay kind of close. That's okay. This early game, there are bandits freaking everywhere. All we got to do is ride... Oh, hang on, I hit the wrong button. There's so many things in this game. I have to do all of them. We don't want to fight 9 Sea Raiders. It's a little more than we're ready to deal with. Who's that? Oh my God! There's so many. We don't want to get surrounded. It's 5 Sea Raiders. I'm confident we can handle 5 Sea Raiders. Aha! Back off.
Back off,
Oh, there he
stranger.
goes.
Unless you want trouble.
I don't mind, brigand. Surrender or die. You'll never take us alive. You'll never take us alive.
Infantry!
All right, same thing here. We want to kind of do a double stack just to get a little bit more impact resistance, because these guys are going to be a little tougher. And they are throwing javelins.
Footman!
My guys probably should move because they don't have shields to block
Move,
javelins. So
Footman!
we do a charge. Oh, one of our guys is dead already. Oh, I missed. Well, we're going to win. We lost a couple guys, but that's to be expected. To be expected.
Victory!
Blend in recruit. All right, we're going to take these prisoners because we can ransom them for a little bit of gold. And now, let's see, what's it going to cost? So it becomes, what's their upkeep? Their wage goes from 2 to 3. Because here's the thing, we're not going to use Valanian crossbowmen. When we're ready for it, we are going to go to Britannia and get the units we need to get the Britannian Fiends, which are the best archers in the game. Best rate of fire, best damage. They're awesome. So we're going to upgrade everybody to a Valandian footman, and we're just going to do it everybody. Look at that regal red color. Take that stuff. 1 of 2 gangs of brigands. I also need to buy some food. Okay, I've got 1 food item here, so that should be enough to get us through this mission, and then we'll have a little bit more money, and then I can buy a little more food, and then we can start kind of moving over towards Britannia, where we'll be. Oh yeah, so we're gonna go to. We're gonna try and stay over by Jacqueline. I have no idea. I say Jaculin. But it's a made-up word, so does it really matter? I have a level up I should do. So I got 1 point. I want to put a point into intelligence so I can get that steward going. Definitely going to put the thing into steward. I've got 2 points here to spend. That's fine. That's fine. Athletics. We need a point in athletics. I'm going to sit on that for now. I don't really need to spend it on anything, so I'm going to just hang on to that point. Sure, Nad. No, we're not going into the city, you goof. Alright. Okay. Probably getting a little too far away from our actual destination. Ooh, I see you, Sea Raiders. Oh, they're way faster than me. I'm not going to be able to catch them. Recruit troops. I want to get back up to 12. God, I keep hitting the wrong button. All right. $11 looters. We can do 11 looters. Looters are very easy. Baron Vartine. I'm going to catch you. I'm going to catch you. His speed is 3.4. Ours is 3.8. I'm going to catch you.
Back off.
I don't know what I'm bringing. Surrender or die. So you start doing enough of these bandit fights where you just kind of like skip all that stuff because they're just so easy. Especially later on when you have like actually well-trained soldiers and a bunch of money and awesome weapons. Good stuff.
Infantry!
All right, where are our enemies? They're over there. So yeah, we're gonna do the double
Move!
line again. We're gonna go a little bit more. Just kind of use the slight slope here as much to our advantage as possible, so they don't get any momentum. So you get an attack advantage if you're attacking downhill, and a penalty if you're attacking uphill. From what I understand. So we want to avoid that. We want to make them, because they're dumb bandits, they'll just run right at us. So all those guys are coming after me. How about no? How about you come fight my soldiers, my guys over here?
Infantry!
Advance! Advance!
Footmen!
But we're losing lost a couple guys. He lost 3 and took 1 wounded. Again, to be expected. It's early on in the game. 3 dead, 1 wounded. That's okay. I'm not going to level up again right now. I don't want to have like more. The upkeep. Got to keep the upkeep under control because I don't have very much money. Also, I need to. This thing finishes loading. Goodness. Here we go. Yay, we completed a quest. So we're going to go back up here, and I'm going to see if I can't see what kind of equipment I can buy. Nothing too crazy, but I want to get a shield and swap out this club for like this mace for a sword or something. Because I like a good sword. I gotta say, I'm a sucker for the fantasy trope of like the mystical sword. Oh, see, now they're both chasing me because it's 11 to 9, but they're not going to catch me. Woo! Okay, so got a couple quests maybe. Help with brigands.
Yours is not a face.
We've seen this already. Let's see. I heard you know about the problems. You want me to hunt them down? I'll hunt down 2 bands of brigands for you. Easy peasy, hunting down the bands of brigands. So red means we don't have the skills for it, so we can't ride it. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna sell all the stuff that isn't food in our inventory because we don't need it. I want to buy a shield for myself. I just want to see if there's like a better sword. No, these guys don't have anything here for sale. Wow. Well, fine. I guess I have to go to a different settlement to see if I can find a sort of semi-usable sword. Olpo the Orphan. We're not going to escort the merchant caravan. We do not have the troops for that yet. I am, speaking of, going to get back up to 12 troops, including myself. Okay, so we got to hunt more. I keep hitting. I need to leave, not hit back. So we're still looking for. Yeah, I've been playing so much Baldur's Gate lately that I keep trying to use the mouse wheel to reposition the camera. I don't think so. I didn't say. Game. Too many Sea Raiders. That's the thing. Is Sea Raiders are a little. Ooh, I hit the fast forward button. Oh my god. So many. Alright. The connection's getting a little funny. I don't know why. I'm not on Wi-Fi. I'm on hardline. I don't know why the internet would be behaving strangely. Alright, I need to buy some food. I didn't realize that I was completely out, but it makes sense that I am. Because the thing is, if you don't have any food, your dudes start to desert. And we're just going to buy like 10 grain for now because it's what we can afford. And it'll be enough to hold us over for quite a while with just 12 guys in our army at the moment. All right, so I got to find something. Not one of these big groups of. Dude, there's so many, like, actually kind of, for like how early on in the game we are, kind of genuinely scary groups of bandits around here. Mountain bandit? I think we can take 7 mountain bandits. See, this is why speed is so important. Because you can catch these fools more easily. Chase him! Catch this man! Ooh, too much stuff. God, so you keep chasing him and like into these corners where there's just like a bunch of them just waiting for me, and I can't do that. I can't deal with that. We got these guys though. We're gonna get these guys. Come here, you! There we go.
Mess with us, and we'll sell our lives dearly.
Oh, be silent, old man. I don't care, brigand. Surrender or die. I want your helmet. I've got a cool helmet. There is nothing more elusive in video games to me than a genuinely cool helmet that is not over-designed. Like a unicorn.
Move!
Oh, I have a shield. Why isn't? Where's my shield? Why isn't? Oh, interesting.
Footman!
Engage! But one of my guys has been wounded. That's good. Oh, one of my guys is dead. Two of my guys is dead. Three of my guys is dead. But we win again. Ha, ha, ha. Ooh, I gained a level. Give me them. Oh, this is another reason why we're going so slow. So we have these prisoners we have to get rid of. You hunted one of two gangs of brigands. You hunted one of two gang of brigands. One of two gang of brigand. La da 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 da. All right. I need to ransom off some prisoners. Which is Tavern District. Ransom prisoners. Trade. So, oh, did I not? What? Why didn't I get? Okay, I swear I bought a shield here, but apparently I didn't. Though we're gonna take the iron rimmed kite shield. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Why isn't it? Okay, there you go. Now he has it. Excellent. Sweared? I don't think a sweared. Not here. Seems weird because swords are kind of the Landian weapon. Point in athletics. Point in riding. Alright, we need one more gang of brigands. Oh, I need to recruit a couple people too. Another 8. We're going to do 13 because it's including me, I guess. So we'll do 12 plus myself. Actually, you know what, though? I'm just going to go up a little bit. The more guys I have, the more of them stand a chance of leveling up in fights. $14 looters. That'll be a good one. That'll be easy. It'll be easy. Like, I'm not worried about losing it, but don't get too far away. Don't get too far away. Don't get too far away. There we go. Ah, close the distance.
Yeah.
Excellent.
What do you want with us?
Surrender or die, Brigand. Attack! I say attack! Anyone ever played Neverwinter Nights? Do you remember the flamboyant duelist voice? Attack! I say attack!
Infantry!
One of those things that's been like burned into my brain since I was like 9 years old. Alright, here we go. Very annoying to me that you guys can see my mouse cursor in the middle of the screen, but I can't. I don't know how to make that go away.
Soldiers! Advance!
Ah! 87 points of damage. Didn't kill him, but I hit him really good. Again, I'm losing a lot of guys. Oh no! Am I gonna lose? We might lose. Ah! Great. Yeah, we're leaving. Whoops, I thought I was going to win that. I guess not. Escape! Do leave. Oh, 1 to 4. Dang it. So close. We almost had him. How many of my guys are wounded? I have 7 wounded. Okay, so that's good. I still have most of my force. Dang. I really thought I was going to be able to win that one. And we're moving very slowly because we have so many wounded people. So it speeds up a little bit. Okay, so we're at 8 total, including myself. 9, 10, 11, 12, 14. All right, I'm just gonna get 20. I'm just gonna go full 20. I did it again. I hit the wrong button. Run away! Run away! Okay, a couple more troops. I want to get 2. Dude, I keep doing this. This game has so many different buttons you have to push that I just, when I don't play it for a while, I forget the order that you have to push them in. Sadi of Hamoshawat was lost. Alright. Now we're maxed out. 20 troops. I still don't want to fight 9 guys. I still don't want to fight 9 Sea Raiders. The Sea Raiders, again, generally at this point in the game, difficult if you're like, unless you're really good at the combat and stuff, and I'm just very much not. I would describe myself as mediocre at video games. There's some that I'm okay at. Some that I'm genuinely okay at. I feel like I'm pretty good at Souls-likes. I feel like I feel like for me, it's because of my ADHD, where like I'll play one game like a crazy person for like 2 or 3 weeks at a time, and then get bored with it and need to move on to something else, and I won't come back to it for a couple of months. So I'll have played like 2 or 3 different games with 2 or 3 completely different control systems in that intervening period. And it's like, how? But even with it, especially with a game like Bannerlord, where the controls are kind of clumsy, it's even worse because it's like, especially in combat, you have to use all the function keys for the commands and stuff. And then like, I still really like this game. It's very fun, but it's definitely got its quirks. And honestly, though, I'm at a point in my gaming as a 33-year-old where I don't mind a game that's a little janky as long as it's got other stuff in it that kind of makes up for it in my mind. Like one of the other games I was contemplating playing tonight was Subnautica. I love that game. It's terrifying. I'm still too scared to face a Reaper Leviathan. But that game is made by a small studio and has kind of some janky things going on. But the good stuff about it is so fun and appealing that I can look past that. Wow, that guy on the left, these 3 bandits, he has a beard. Not if you give up now. If not, prepare to fight. We're going to be fighting 9 guys. I think we can do this. You'll never take us alive. The odds are in our favor here. I'm to lose some of my people, but I think we'll be fine. We outnumber them 2 to 1. So. Yeah, I mean, as long as it's playable jank, as long as like the fundamentals of the game are good enough that the game is actually playable, because sometimes jank is so janky that it's just you can't get into it. That was why I couldn't get into the first Bannerlord, frankly, is I did not. It was just a little bit jankier than the way in the control scheme than Mountain Blade. The first one, Warband,
Infantry!
Just because again, yeah, it was just a little too clunky and hard to manage for me. But Bannerlord is like fun stuff about it is just fun enough where oh, I just got hit by a freaking javelin. It's sticking right out of my leg. Oh no, all my guys are dying again. Oh, I think we're gonna win though. Yeah, we got him. Lost a lot of people, but we got him. I think my guys be bright red is actually really helpful. I can see them very clearly. I know who's mine. Victory! And I'm not doing very much fighting right now because my character does not have good equipment. Oh, 9 guys died. Ugh. Well, these 4 Valandian recruits are levelable. See, the thing is, I'm trying to like I want to get like 20 guys as footmen. Oh, see, like games like that, those kind of novelty trending games, I just can't get into because they're just like there's one thing about them that's kind of goofy and quirky that's very funny, but like I can't justify spending money on it myself because it's not something I want to be spending a lot of time doing. You know, like I like video games that have a focused experience. Like there's a point to it somehow. Where and games like Goat Simulator, while very funny conceptually, I don't ever want to really feel like spending money on because it's like I'm going to play it once for a half an hour and I'm never going to touch it again. Same thing with like the one game like that I did buy was Stanley Parable. Fair. You know what though? I'm gonna level these guys up to spearmen. Yes, spearmen, because I just need them to be a little bit better. But I got a bunch of money from that. Oh, another game I could download and play if I wanted to fucking play some Warhammer games. I could download and play Battlefleet Gothic 2. That game's awesome. I'm not good at it. I don't know how into the Warhammer thing you are, Colin. I know you were talking. Oh yeah. Stanley Parable's funny. It's fun and it's like this kind of. I don't know. I haven't played it in a while. I only really played it because my friend. One of my friends I used to live with had it, and we were messing around with it, and then I bought it just out of curiosity. I haven't looked at it. I haven't downloaded it for anything in years, but it was only like $10 or $15 or something. So I'm not really fussed about it. And it's a very well executed, very smart game as well. So like, I think even if you only mess around with it a little bit, I think you're still getting for $15 or whatever it was, you're getting a lot out of it because it is like an art piece more so than it is like game. All right. So I've got 11 guys. I need more though. Just get rid of that notification. Vermintide is good. Warhammer Fantasy is something that I don't know much about, especially either the old world setting or the Age of Sigmar version of the setting. I don't really know too much about it. 40K was always my jam. I started playing the tabletop game when I was like 12, like back in the twilight years of 3rd edition. What that would have been 2002, 2001, 2002. It's very cool to me to see how much the hobby has changed in that time because I've been involved in it for more than half my life at this point, for 21 years. And to see where it is now versus what it was like when I started is really cool. A lot of people have complaints about things. Oh, yeah. It's the mythology is absolutely absurd. It's there's so much, but it's very cool. You know, I love it's kind of the granddaddy of the grimdark setting, at least kind of in the modern iteration. And I love me some knights and fucking demons and dragons and shit. So having like, you know, the Space Marines are my jam. I used to play Blood Angels, and I mean I still have all my whole collection. Actually, I have a model that I purchased and have never used on the tabletop because I haven't played the game in years. But here's my Storm Raven. My background is making it hard to see. Hang on. We're going to lose the game for a second because I can't figure out how to click on other windows without minimizing the game window. Virtual background. I'm gonna turn it off for a second so you can see my white drape that I have behind me. Yeah, here's my Storm Raven. I never really had like the tools or the space to like really go hard on the painting and like do a lot of the crazy details and like custom work. But you know, I think it's pretty cool. Like I said, I purchased this and I have never used it. I bought it like right before my friend who I played with because I've never really liked going to gaming stores and like playing with randoms. It just I don't. I'm socially averse to those types of interactions. So I had like one friend that I played this with, and he has been living in Australia with his wife for the last few years for her work. So I haven't played in a long time. I'm very out of the loop as far as the game stuff goes, but yeah, great fucking setting. Oh man, dude, as an adult, the tabletop game is like prohibitively expensive unless you have a big disposable income, which is one of the reasons I haven't been able to play it at all, is because it's just too expensive, which is a bummer because it's very cool. And also too at this point, if I was gonna, I want to get back into it at some point when I can afford it, but it is one of those things that's like, this is a two-handed axe. Sorry, I'm looking at. I want to see if there's just something I can replace this stupid mace with, but I don't see any. Why does my shield keep going? I keep buying a shield and it keeps disappearing. What is happening? Yeah, and it's just more expensive too than it used to be. Like when I started playing, it was expensive, but it's even more expensive now. And like I get why it's expensive. It's a very niche hobby, and like because of that, Games Workshop can charge a shitload of money for it, and there's all this other stuff. But because it's kind of prohibitively expensive, and it's probably my favorite fictional setting, it's cool to me as a long time participant in the setting how much other media and stuff is coming out now. Because one of the things I heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, but there's a guy that I subscribe to on YouTube named Winters SEO, and he does like tabletop battle reports and stuff like that. And they're very casual. They're not like not super produced. It's just him talking with the buddy and recapping the turns and stuff. They're very casual. And he was saying that apparently back in like the early 2000s and the 90s and stuff, when the hobby was still very much like this little niche thing, the people who were running Games Workshop at the time didn't think that people cared about the game or like the fiction of it, and they just wanted to like paint and model the miniatures and stuff, which is just totally the opposite of my experience interacting with other fans or other enjoyers of Warhammer. It's like I have only ever talked to two people who only painted the miniatures and didn't also play, you know. But then at some point there was a leadership shakeup, and so the people who are running it now well, it's definitely more corporate, which has its own downsides, of course. They are they have invested in the intellectual property of Warhammer, and that's why there are more games and other like forms of media coming out, and more so than ever before, is because they can see, like, in the age of the media IP, things like Marvel and Star Wars and stuff, Warhammer is tons of potential, especially with things like video games. So it's cool to see like that Dark Tide is a thing, where that honestly to me feels like one of the first really good examples of like a 40K video game, because a lot of them are really mediocre to bad. The original Dawn of War was fun. It has its flaws, but it was a fun game, and its expansions. Dawn of War 2, never played it, heard it was bad, so I never checked it out. Dawn of War 3 looks beautiful, has a great soundtrack. The gameplay, I hate it though. It is. Is there an Amazon series coming out about 40K? I heard that Henry Cavill was doing something with it, but I haven't heard like that there's been any like solid info about it. I've just heard that it's a thing he's trying to get off the ground. There's so many bad Warhammer games. Dawn of War 3, again, looked beautiful, great soundtrack. The gameplay was really annoying. It's like lane-based RTS combat, and I hate that kind of like sort of almost League of Legends like, and I hate that kind of gameplay. I just find it so tedious and like pointlessly stressful. So Dawn of War 3 was a bit of a letdown. The campaign is fun because you don't have to deal with that quite as much, but like skirmishes are insufferable to me, which is a bummer. The first Space Marine game that came out in like 2012 or something, that game was really fun. It's definitely a product of its time. It did not really age very well gameplay wise. Very fun at the time. For me as a fan, it was like, oh god, somebody's actually finally made a game where I feel like a fucking Space Marine. I can just rip through like 100 orcs and be mostly okay. And like, it sucks and it's hard and like you're taking a lot of damage and stuff, but it's like, yep, I'm a giant man with a chainsword who's wearing a brick house for armor, and you can't stop me. I've heard that Henry Cavill wants to do it. It would be cool if they could do it well. I don't really watch shows though. I find watching stuff like TV and movies with my ADHD, I get really bored. It just doesn't get, unless it's something that I'm very, very like keen on. I just get really bored watching television and things like that. So I can't say that I would watch the show. But if I hear good things about it, if it ever comes out, that would be great. One issue that I kind of always have with, they're making a movie or they're making a show, is like somehow there's like a subliminal message in there that's like somehow like an elevation from other forms of media, and it's no, I don't think so. I mean, one of the things I think Warhammer is great is very well suited for books and stuff, because it's just like there's so much of it that like I'm thinking about like how they would make a Warhammer show, and it's like, how do you make that without tons of CGI? And I don't have a problem with CGI. I'm not one of those people. It's very expensive to do it well, and a Warhammer show would require so fucking much of it, even if like the protagonists were like Imperial Guardsmen or something. It would just require so much CGI for so many things, or like very, very, very expensive sets, that I have a hard time envisioning what that would look like. Because a guy like Space Marine armor looks really cool standing still or like in a video game or whatever. But like when you think about the like, there are some really funny pictures of like, they're not like surface funny, but the pictures like a Space Marine guy standing to the side holding a gun out, and if you think about the angle of it, it's like he cannot see anything over his shoulder pad. His pauldron is completely blocking his line of view. He is shooting blind. And so with all that kind of stuff in mind, yes, yeah, Astartes is awesome. Astartes is really cool. I show that to my friends who don't know anything about Warhammer, and they think it's fucking rad. The Stardust is really cool. There's a guy who took sections from the book Hell's Reach and turned it into like a fan film with like three like very stylized like 3D animations and stuff. Very cool. It's like 3 hours long or something, maybe even longer than that. But the unfortunate thing is, though, Games Workshop in the last few years really has clamped down on like fan made projects and stuff, and so it's kind of a dead community in that regard, which is very unfortunate. And so a lot of that stuff is now relegated to their Warhammer Plus streaming platform, which apparently is very, very hit and miss. Although I did see, I am very curious about the show they just put out, Pariah Nexus, which is about Necrons and stuff. There's like a salamander and a sister of battle and stuff like that. That looks cool. One thing that they're doing really well right now, I think, with Warhammer is they've got like writers developing the story instead of it just being kind of like ad hoc novels. They've got like a plan and a sorry, I thought I heard a cat. A plan for like where the story is going, which is cool because like I think about how there are Primarch miniatures now, like the Primarchs being, you know, the Gene Fathers of the founding 20 Space Marine legions, all the way back in the Horus Heresy, 10,000 years before the current timeline in the setting. And I think about how when I started playing, the Primarchs were literally just myth. Like there's even like very little art of them when I started playing. And what art there was like there was no real consistency to it. And so looking back at that, if I went back and told my 13-year-old self that like, hey, in the year 2023, there will be not one, but 5 Primarch miniatures that have rules and are table legal, I would blow my own mind. You know, none of them are my Primarch. Sanguinius, the Primarch of the Blood Angels, but I don't care. That's so cool to me. Like, just seeing, because it was always something that like in the old lore they would talk about, like, oh, it's this, you know, when the end times come, the Primarchs and stuff will return and all this other stuff, and it was always just never just felt like anything would ever happen because it's just when I was playing Warhammer, there wasn't a story really that like moved forward. It was very stagnant. You know, it was like, here's the history of the setting so that you have context for how it is now when you're playing the game, but it didn't really move forward. Even when they would do like big campaigns, they would usually do kind of whatever outcome. Like I remember, it's something that they've retconned since then, which I think that was for the better. They did a campaign, a worldwide campaign that you could buy a supplement book for that had special units and mission types and stuff. It was for the Eye of Terror. It was the 13th Black Crusade of Abaddon the Despoiler, the War Master of Chaos. And the campaign officially ended with a narrow Imperial victory, which was just so like, yes, that's exactly how it was going to end, because then they don't have to change anything in the setting. You know, like everything just gets to stay the same. Very comic book. Like if a character in a comic book dies, they've got to bring it back to life eventually because otherwise their sales are going to be like negatively impacted. It felt a lot like that. And but I'm so when I kind of fell out of it because I said my friend who I played with, he moved and I just didn't really touch it for several years. And I last time I played was just as 6th edition was coming in. And so I have, you know, my Storm Raven, which is a model from 6th edition. I have the 6th edition Blood Angels Codex. I have the 6th edition rulebook. Never actually used any of them on the tabletop because as soon as I bought them, not as soon as I bought them, but between when I bought them and when my friend moved, we just never had time to play. And so I dropped off really with 6th edition, but having never really played it. And I didn't really start paying attention to it again until 8th or 9th edition, I want to say, and like not even from the standpoint of like paying attention to what's going on in the tabletop, but like coming back into it from the lore. And when I came back and was like, oh, Reboot Gilliman is alive, and so is Magnus the Red and Mortarion, and I was like, what? What? And then I found out that Cadia got blown up, and I was like, that seemed, whoa, that was genuinely like I could not believe that they were like, yeah, we're gonna blow up Cadia, probably a second to Terra as the most important planet in the setting. Just coming back and seeing all this stuff, and like the Necrons being so much more fleshed out than they were when I started playing, and just yeah, all that stuff was so cool. And I will say, it did take me a little while to get on board with the Primaris Marines, because I was like, I don't know, man, I just really like the classic Space Marines. They've got they just have the blood and thunder, you know. That's how the old Space Marines feel, and the new Space Marines, they're very cool, and they've grown on me, but they're a lot more like tactical. Oh yeah, dude, reading about how Cadia was destroyed in like the pylons, and how like the Great Rift open, like it wasn't just the destruction of Cadia, but they're like, oh yeah, the old night has returned and the galaxy's divided in half by a massive warp storm and everything is fucked up. And I was like, oh shit, they really went hard and like changed a bunch of shit about the setting, like in a way that they never had before, as far as I'm aware. You know, and seeing like the story developments and how they're releasing narrative campaigns that actually move stuff forward, and like it's not necessary to, but if you read the novels that are released kind of along the same time frame, it actually kind of adds to your understanding of what's happening in that campaign. Like I think it's a lot to ask of people from like a time commitment, but it's very cool to see that like there's an actual narrative now to the modern timeline of Warhammer, as opposed to the narrative being all in the past. So coming back to it and seeing all that stuff was very cool, and seeing that there are like actually slowly more genuinely good Warhammer 40k video games coming out. That's also really cool to see, because again, for the longest time, all we had was Dawn of War. That was it. And that game was like, it was fun and it did a lot of things very cool, but it was, I don't know, pretty mediocre. I would give it like a 7 out of 10, 7.5 maybe. Yeah, and it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a little, I would say one of the smart things about Warhammer is that it's such a huge setting that you can kind of just pick a corner of it to start with and just kind of branch out slowly from there. Whereas like I feel like other things like comic books and stuff, because it's like there's decades and decades and decades of constantly moving narrative, that it's like, where do you start with that? Whereas with Warhammer, if you want to get into the tabletop, you don't actually really need to know that much about like the history, because all of the characters from the history, most of them are dead. You know, like a lot of the people that were around 10,000 years ago that kind of kicked when all this stuff kicked off, a lot of them are gone, you know, and the ones that aren't are so integral to the game that there's no way you can get into it without learning a little bit about them. You know, like the Chaos Gods and Slanesh, really the Chaos Gods and the Fall of the Eldar and the Emperor and stuff. Like you can't really get into the game without encountering that sort of a thing. So it does a really good job, I think, of like slowly onboarding people into the lore, in a way that a lot of other games like that and settings like that have a lot of interconnectivity don't do. Like the Marvel movies, I've enjoyed the first 10 years, you know, all the way up through Endgame, but I'm just completely out of it now, because it's too much to follow. All the TV shows, and also I don't really care that much anymore. I'm very much suffering from the superhero fatigue. I am, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think it does, compared to a lot of other settings that are equally expansive, I think Warhammer does a really good job of, if you're getting into it from the angle of like the tabletop game, it does a really good job of like kind of drip feeding you the essential information. Yeah, it's one of those things. I think a lot of people are. I think they overdid it. Also, having all the fucking TV shows that you have to watch is more. It's just like people only have so many hours in the day, And it's like when you're putting out 6 movies a year or whatever, and then have 6 TV shows. It's just like, who on earth thought that anyone ever would be able to keep up with this? And also, all of the characters that I really cared about have moved on or are no longer doing the things that I thought were that interesting. So whatever. It's fine. I don't have any beef with it. I'm not out there like Marvel ruined media. I don't care. I moved on to other stuff. I don't think of myself as a fan of anything. I think I'm an enjoyer of things. I like to enjoy the things I'm interested in. Yeah, I agree. I think the high point of the Marvel Cinematic Universe was honestly Civil War. I think that was the best movie that they ever made in that franchise. Because the villain wasn't like a thing flying in the sky for a change, and it was like actually like there was character motivation beyond like saving. One of the things I say this as somebody who doesn't really read that many comic books, so or really read comic books at all. Occasionally, I'm like, oh, that seems kind of cool. I'll buy that. But I don't really read them. I don't read them in any regular, consistent way. So keep that in mind. But like, the whole thing of Tony Stark is a flawed man because he's an alcoholic. Like, that's not that interesting to me. You're gonna have flaws that should be like an actual character flaw, not like a vice. I think it's why I think Boromir is the best character in the Lord of the Rings, because he's a flawed man. He makes mistakes like a human does. He's not a perfect elf. He's not a stalwart, unyielding dwarf. He's not a mystical ranger or a wizard or a little halfling. He's just a guy, who wants to help his people. And he's so committed to doing that he makes mistakes because he kind of loses sight of the big picture in the interest of trying to do the right thing for his people. And that's a good character. Not that I don't think the other characters are good. Like Aragorn is one of my favorite fictional characters. He's such an aspirational figure. He's got the Captain America thing going on, where it's like, if more people tried to be that good, didn't even necessarily get to be that point, but if more people tried to be that good, the world would be better. Oh, so underrated. So underrated. And I think a lot of it just comes down to the fact that he dies so early on in the story. He dies in the first book, he dies in the first movie, and then you have 2 whole installments of the story without him. And then you don't really have anything tying back into him until you meet Faramir late in the 2 Towers. So, yeah, I think, he definitely is underrated. But I think also he's underrated in that mass media way. But I think people who actually like are into the story appreciate Boromir, because he's so good. He's such a believable character in a world of fantasy and dragons and stuff. Yeah, I mean, they're very similar. I mean, Captain America doesn't have the reluctant hero thing. If anything, he's like craving to be a hero. Whereas Aragorn is kind of afraid to take up the mantle of king because of the history of the last king of Gondor and all that, with the Isildur and the ring and all that stuff. But so I mean, Aragorn is still so great. Aragorn is a great depiction of non-toxic masculinity. I think is one of the great things. And the same thing with Cap too. Like Cap and Aragorn are similar in that way, where they're both very masculine characters, but they are masculine in healthy, honorable ways, aspirational ways. That's why I like them a lot. That's why Cap was my favorite. Not because he's Captain America, but because he's like does the most to try and be a good person. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. You feel Boromir's earnest desire to save his family and city. Yeah, totally. That's his whole motivation. Like he doesn't want to have the ring for his own benefit. Like even Gandalf admits that like if I had the ring, I would do terrible things with it ultimately. Whereas Boromir's like, all I want it for is to save my people. It's not about my own power. It's about trying to protect my my nation, my people, my city, my family. And so he's the only person who's tempted by the ring that isn't tempted for selfish reasons as well, because even Galadriel, she has her whole like, and you will have a queen, that whole thing, yeah, Boromir's great. He's awesome. I love Boromir. It's also why I love the Blood Angels. They're flawed heroes with a genuine, I said genuine flaw. They're like angelic on the outside, daywalker vampires on the inside. So it's a bit more extreme and more fantastical, but like they pursue goodness and nobility in spite of that darkness in them, that flaw. So I love me like a genuinely flawed hero that isn't just so simple as he has a drug addiction or they have a drug addiction or whatever. Because like I can understand why that would be like relatable for a lot of people, and there's nothing certainly wrong with that archetype, but it just doesn't really do it for me. Which is why Tony Stark was always like second to Cap for me. Iron Man was always number 2. Because also Iron Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, anyways, all of his enemies are people that he was a dick to at one point or another. So it's like he kind of set himself up for this. Like this is your past coming back to haunt you, my friend, because you were an asshole. You were a spoiled rich asshole and you just made enemies out of people because you felt like you could and you were entitled to it. And I'm glad that you've kind of outgrown that, but this is your fault. Whereas Cap, it's like, oh shit, the Nazis are back. So, but anyways, all right, let's get back to this game here. Long story short, I like where Warhammer is right now. I do acknowledge that they have taken off they've shaved a little of some of the hard edges off to make it a little bit more appealing and less problematic. But I don't think it's done in any significant way to like completely change the tone of the setting. Yeah, everyone in the first movie, Obadiah Stane or whatever, I haven't seen the first Iron Man in a really long time. But like he is genuinely an asshole also, but he is like, I hate you, Tony, because you're a spoiled brat, And then in the second movie, it's like, oh, your dad fucking ruined my dad's life, so I'm gonna kill you now. Your dad was also an asshole needlessly and ruined my whole family. And then in the third movie, it's like a guy that he was a fucking asshole to at Killian or whatever his name is at some conference, and it's just like, yeah, these guys are all fundamentally Iron Man's villains because he's a dick. And again, there's like character themes and story arcs stuff, and all that being said, perfect way to end his story arc in Endgame. Perfect way to end it. Could not have done it any better. So it's not really. I'm not really complaining about the character, but it's just stuff that the people are talking about how great Iron Man is. Like he's created all of his own worst enemies, and now it's coming back to bite him in the ass. And that's commendable that he's changed his ways and is trying to be a better person. But like because he was a dick 10 years ago or whatever, he's now created this problem where we have this like crazy virus that's going to infect the whole world because this guy hates Tony and he wants to fuck him over. So it's like, yeah, he's somebody who's like dealing with the consequences of his actions, which is also a cool narrative arc. But yeah, his villains in the movie, in the cinematic universe, anyways, his villains are always people who are like, I fucking hate you, Tony Stark. You're a dick. All right, let's see here. What was I doing? Oh, I need to find some more missions, and I need to head over kind of to Botania so that I can be sort of close to that part of the land when I'm ready to recruit some archers. One thing I like about this is kind of one of my children just kind of sit here and just kind of hang out while your people move around the map. Inric of Chornad, deliver the herd to Kar Banseth. We'll do that one. Those are easy. I just got to take like some cows to another
Peace to
city.
you, stranger.
I don't really care about all this dialogue, though. Urgency with the problem. Tell me how I can help. So we're going to take 10 cattle or something to Carbansith, to Iron Skull Scene. I'm willing to pay 750 dinars if you deliver them safe and sound. Don't worry, I'll deliver your 10 hog personally. Coincidentally, Carbansith is a Britannian settlement. It's kind of the direction that we were heading anyways. The other two, the Sergians and the Imperials, have the best infantry, and heading over there means that we'll be able to get closer to them and recruit them. Because the Valandian infantry, while they're better than the worst, like the basic Valandian infantry are better than the basic infantry of a lot of the other factions, they are not better than the infantry of the Sergians or the Imperials, who have the best heavy infantry. Imperials have the best shield infantry, I think, because they can throw javelins and like just absolutely fuck up enemy infantry, unshielded enemy infantry in like counter charges and stuff with the javelins. And the Sturgians have the best like two-handed like line breakers with big axes and stuff to like smash through shields. So we're gonna kind of we're probably gonna go and try and get about maybe 10 of each of them. We're here to fight, surrender or die.
Infantry! Move! Footmen! Advance!
My guy is very weak and has very, very, very bad weapons. I missed because my weapons are slow.
Victory is ours!
Could have won the battle. I only lost one guy that time. And we've got a couple of levels. Great. Great. I wanted to get those prisoners. Oh, well, too late. They're not worth that much money. They're not worth that much money. We're going to Carbansith. What's on the way? I want to see... Hitting the wrong buttons on the keyboard. All the way over there. It won't take us that long to get there, but I just needed to figure out what the best route was. We're going to speed this up a little. Oh, I want to get some more soldiers before I fight again. Keep clicking on the wrong things. Oh, hang on. How many days do I have to do this? 29 days, plenty of time. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to kind of take the long way around. I'm going to get some Imperial soldiers because they are quite good. Once they get to the point where they're wearing heavy armor and stuff, they're very good. They've got a heavy armor and shields, swords, and they throw javelins. So they're quite good. I think they have the best armor for infantry in the game, and then I supplement that with like Sturgian line breakers, or two-handed axemen. And then on top of that, then you get the Britannian Fiends, the archers, which are the best archers in the game. Infantry, and then for cavalry, the end goal is going to be Imperial cataphracts, which are the heaviest infantry and the heaviest cavalry in the game, and Kuzite horse archers, or like the elite, because they have like a regular horse archer and like an elite horse archer. We're going to get the elite ones. Recruit troops. Viglia recruit. Those are cavalry guys. We're not looking for cavalry yet. Cavalry are too expensive for us at the moment. Fast forward. Cavalry are too expensive. Emirates of Gamaradan. Art of the Trade, we're already doing one of those. It's not going to let me take that one. More Viglia recruits, but also some regular Imperial recruits, so we'll take them. Alright. Ooh, somebody's being besieged. Who's being... I think it's probably the Battanians besieging these Western Empire here. Given the nature of the borders. Once we've got some halfway decent equipment, we're going to start participating in tournaments. Tournaments are a very good way to get your renown up. Who's laying siege to Varen Castle? Yeah. Oh, wow. 900 guys. Looters! We're going to fight these guys. Oh, they disappeared. Dang it. Ooh, 15. I'm going to avoid them for now. That's a little more than I want to deal with. Recruit troops, 2 more infantry. Big old city, we can probably get some more guys in. Looters! We're going to fight. Oh, that's a 5 group. We'll take on those guys. Trade. I suppose I'll trade. Don't sell the hogs. Those aren't for me to sell. Those are for me to deliver. Although you can sell them, and then the people who you're supposed to give them to and the people you bought them from will be like, you thief, you stole my shit. They'll be mad at you. We're going to catch you. I'm going to catch you. I'm going to catch you. Can't run from me forever.
We've got no quarrel with you.
But I have one with you. Bring in to give up now. Guy looks like he'd be very cold with that shirt on. It's got a lot of holes in it.
Infantry! Move!
Okay, double line.
Footmen!
We're just gonna watch these guys. You know
Infantry,
what? No.
move to enemy!
I have to remember I'm on stream and it needs to be slightly more entertaining than me playing myself. One of the things is my gameplay style, it does not really lend itself very well. I don't think to stream because I'm very methodical about my games. It's not necessarily the most exciting. I'm going to try and be less like sit here and wait for them to come to me, which is what I would prefer to fight. In games like this, I would prefer to fight defensively where possible. Just if for no other reason than to like preserve my own forces. But I've been playing Darktide and I've been playing as a zealot and awesome. Playing as a zealot using the executioner chainsword, the 2-handed one. And I've been using a flamethrower, but I think tonight when I play after the stream, I'm gonna start using a bolter. All right, man. Thanks for hanging out. We gotta fire up some Darktide off stream one of these days. Let's see here. Where are we going? I've completely lost my sense of direction. This way. This way. We're going this way. Up this way. All right, I need to fast forward, especially while we're recovering from battle and my movement speed is very slow. Man! Ooh. Come here, you. Come here, you. 12. Oh, wrong way. Wrong button. Catch this guy. I'm going to
We've
catch you.
got no quarrel with
I'm
you.
going to catch you. Attack! Slay them! Slay them all! Hacha!
Soldiers!
Like my guy down there, he's got a scythe, just like a farmer. So I'll join your army, my lord. God, my guy has such a teenager set of facial hair. Look at that. My first beard. Although my first beard, I couldn't even grow a mustache in, so I just had a silly little thing on my chin. And now I have white hairs in my beard, which is not a complaint, but just an observation. It is how it all happens. It happens to all of us. Aging is part of being alive, and that's totally fine.
Infantry!
Okay. Advance! Advance! One of our problems is also that our horse is very slow. Oh, only 2 deaths. Nice. We're improving. 3 deaths. 4. Goodness. 4 deaths. 2 injuries. I gained a level. Huzzah! Grab all the loot, grab all the loot. So I'm still trying to recruit a few more Imperials, so I've got 1 point here. What do we spend this on? Tactics, maybe? So the green is like, this gives you, I think is like I can't remember, is it like the learning limit? This is as high as you can go, or I think maybe you just get like boosted experience. The mechanics of this game are pretty dense, so I don't pay a lot of attention to them. There's a few things that I found that I had to like look up to figure out that were really important to making this game work. But when it comes to like the min-maxing the characters, I don't really need help with brigands. We'll do this one as well.
Hey, so who are you then?
Everyone in our town wears purple, so we all know which faction we're loyal to. I'll hunt down 2 gangs of brigands. 2 gangs of brigands. all right. Party. So we've got a guy who could level up, but I don't want to level up the spearmen because they're going to start getting too expensive. Mountain bandits. They're a little too tough. I don't really want to fight those guys. And I want to get my. No, they're both coming for me now. Shit. Shit. We must ride. Ride. Oh, oh no, they are chasing me. Fuck. All right, well, we gotta fight this battle. I think I'm gonna lose.
Hello there, little lost sheep. We are wolves of the mountains, and we would like a moment of your
Oh,
time.
be silent, you. One second. I have a friend who's asking me about a game. We might be playing some Baldur's Gate, which I really want to figure out how to get that working. I think what's probably going to wind up happening is I'm going to have to set it up on my laptop. So I have one of my desktop monitors plugged into my laptop. Because I know my laptop can run the game but the laptop runs the game much more smoothly than this does, even when I'm not streaming, and I can play it just fine on here. But trying to stream it at the same time, it was kind of a disaster. So I gotta see if I can make something work. Sorry, 1 second. My best friend is currently living out in California with his wife and their son, their toddler, and they're living out there for a year while she does some school stuff. They're getting some help from her parents. So playing games and stuff now together. We got to coordinate a little bit more because he's 2 hours behind us here. Fight me if you dare. Fight me if you dare. If this goes poorly, this will probably be it for me tonight because I have to go to the bathroom and I want to step outside for a little smoke before I play Baldur's Gate with my friend here. So if this goes poorly, which it might, it might go poorly, I may have to retreat. But we will see. I have some upgraded soldiers now, so we stand a little bit better of a chance fighting these guys than we did with just like peasants. Yawn.
Infantry!
Oh, boy, they are really. Oh, they have 3 fucking horsemen too. Boy, this is not great. Cha! I'm gonna come and get you, stupid. Except I'm very slow. Your horses are much faster than mine.
Infantry!
We've already got one wounded guy. Oh, one other wounded. I do not think this is gonna bode very well for us. Missed. I'm so slow. Oh! Aha! We beat all their infantry. Now it's just a matter of defeating their silly horsemen. Can't see anything.
Infantry! Move! Infantry!
Ow, my horse! Oh, dude, my horse is about to die. Ah, smacked him. Nice. Nice, one down. There's no way I'm catching up to those guys on this slow-ass horse.
Infantry! Move! Move!
Oh, my men! Oh! We just lost 3 guys. Oh, that's not good.
Soldiers!
Only one of them died, but still, against horsemen, and I don't have any archers or anything. And I would chase, if I had a better horse, I would chase them down and try and fight them because that would be more interesting to watch. But I can't, I literally cannot catch them because my horse is so slow. Oh, come on, guys. At least, like, take out one of their horses or something. Ah, look how slow we are. This is as fast as I can go. Oh, and I completely whiffed on that. Hey, my horse! Horse is a boot to die. Oh, there goes my horse. Come, men! Aha! We've killed one. Great, there's only one guy left. Oh, I killed his horse. That was awesome. Heck yeah.
We shot them!
We won. We lost 10 guys.
We shut them!
I keep losing so many people. Yeah, we're doing tier 3 on everybody. Tier 3 is affordable. No prisoners to take, though. Ooh. Oh, my capacity's been exceeded. Got some armor to go there. Let's give ourselves a little bit better equipment. Sneeze. I also can't figure out why my shields keep disappearing. Carrying way too much stuff, huh? What's the cheapest shit we can get rid of? Get rid of this. And this. What's this? Oh my god, we're carrying so much stuff. Where is all this weight coming from? All right, well, what else do we have that's very low? We can get rid of this. Can't get rid of the grain. We need. Oh no, we can't get rid of food. Food we need to keep. Get rid of that. Here, let's go from. I don't know why I'm not doing it like this. Dude, what am I carrying that's so heavy? Interesting. I do not know why, but I don't know. We'll just keep getting rid of the stuff in. Just hang on, come back here. Grapes and beer. I need that. Where did all this weight come from? What is this? This is very strange. Well, you know what? I'm just going to keep it. Capacity is exceeded, but that we can still get to the settlement. I'm going to get to the settlement, sell this stuff, and then I think we're going to call it a night. Pause. There we go. Just waiting for the loading to save to be done. All right, where's the nearest settlement? The nearest major settlement. I think it's got to be Seonan. So we're just gonna. Oh God, and I don't even think that those dudes counted for the quest I was trying to do. That's all right. The quest is I've got like a month to do it, basically. I just need to get over here, sell my stuff, and save. Tavern district, ransom prisoners. Oh, follower island. Trade. I don't know why I have so much stuff I'm carrying. Demath. Don't. Why do I? What? Oh, is it because I had a bunch of wounded guys? That's probably what it was. My wounded guys couldn't carry stuff. That makes sense now. Okay. All right. Well, folks, that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you for watching. I'll be probably back next Wednesday. Hopefully, maybe we'll have Baldur's Gate stuff figured out. If not, maybe we'll just keep playing Bannerlord. Who knows? But thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. It's been fun, and I will see you soon. So I'm going to save here. That's going to be it. All right, everybody. Good night.